And we are back finally with the Blame Girl podcast with
Mr. Terry Wayne.
And we got Bobby in the house. What's up, Bobby?
Out here blaming.
I don't know why I can't remember your last name right now.
Hall.
Finally, Bobby Hall. Hobby Ball.
Yeah, there you go.
Everybody's Instagram names like fuck me up a little bit, right? Bobby Hall. We got Bobby Hall in the house. Sorry, Bobby. Not Eric. All right. That's an inside joke. But anyway, how you doing? How was your weekend, Bobby?
It's been pretty good. Went fishing the other night. Was out till like 3:00 in the morning. That was last night.
Fishing till 3:00 in the morning?
Yeah. So it's a lot like fishing.
Fish don't sleep?
No, they're out there eating all night. Yeah, they're just not eating the hook.
Wow.
They just keep eating the shrimp off the hook. It's not fair.
So did you catch any fish?
No, I caught a stingray.
You were out there till 3 a.m. and catch no damn fish. You caught a stingray.
That's worse than catching nothing. Those things are so hard to get off.
Yeah. And you feel bad because you like yank the hook out of its mouth and it's like making noise. And I'm like, oh God.
Yo, isn't that what killed our boy?
Yeah.
Stingray?
Yeah, Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
We poked him up.
He was around every animal and the stingrays what got him.
I know. I took the hook out a little bit extra slow. I was like, this is payback, send a message.
How was I guess it's weird asking about the weekend because it's still the weekend, huh?
Yeah.
We usually do it on Monday and like it makes sense. But anyway, Terry, how was your week and weekend?
It's good, trying a new job this week. The last couple of weeks we were off last week, but no, just went to a party last night. That was fun. What? Yeah, I know me.
Where at? Y'all have friends out there?
We had family,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fun. My family's cool. So
y'all make some friends.
I have made some friends, but this party was this was a family event. But my family's great, so that's why I'm a little worse for wear today. But that's all right because it's a Sunday.
3 a.m. last night too?
Huh?
Were you out till 3 a.m. also last night?
No, 1 a.m. But the whiskey, little too many shots of the whiskey. So yeah. Drifting around a little bit today, but that's all right. It's a Sunday. Just sit around, watch football. It's great.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't distract y'all from football. Terry's like 7. He wanted to do it at 7. I know the Steelers played at 1 because I got invited to.
I don't watch any football. I'm not gonna lie.
What?
Well, the Steelers won, so you're.
I don't watch football either. I was just gonna go.
I know. Well, you brought up the Steelers for some reason, so.
Well, I got invited to go watch them today.
I just have to like genuinely hate them from Cincinnati, so it's like I have to.
Oh.
Have to hate like the Steelers. It's just like.
Well, Cincinnati lost today too. So.
Yeah, they always suck, but that's nothing new.
Is that the Brown? No, that's Cleveland.
Bengals.
Okay. So they just opened a new like mini golf place right next to where I live, and that's where they wanted to go watch the football game. And I was gonna go just to check it out because I want to check it out, which I will at some point, but I didn't go today. I just chilled. So my weekend, thanks for asking.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your weekend.
I know.
How was your wonderful weekend?
I'll talk more about my week than my weekend. Like last weekend, I took a trip to St. Pete, but we went to Devil's Den before we went to St. Pete, and that was crazy.
So were you able to snorkel down there, or was it just that you could get into the?
You have to snorkel down there.
Okay, you can't like scuba dive because I heard that. Like,
oh yeah,
certified to be able to like do certain stuff.
You can. There were people scuba diving, but I think you have to be certified to actually do the diving. I wasn't interested. I didn't even really want to snorkel. That freaked me out a little bit, having the fins and the fucking thing on my face. But it's beautiful. So, and then St. Pete was beautiful. I saw dolphins. I went to the Dolly Museum. It was a lot of fun. And then I actually did a mic out there. It was just some random all arts mic at this place called Mace Trees. And that was a lot of fun. I had to do clean because there was a child there. And so I was like, let me challenge myself.
Gotta love that.
So I did an 8 minutes clean. They gave me 15, and I don't have 15 clean minutes. I might. I just couldn't think of it.
I love when kids are at the show. I go right into it, man, head first. The first thing what do you want to be when you grow up? And whatever they say, I'm going to be like, that's so stupid. You know,
but it's clean.
You can be clean and mean. You can
cuss.
still be mean and then still
Right.
technically be clean. Clean and mean, baby.
It's like being an uncle in public, you know?
Exactly. And I am an uncle in private. So why not be it?
Right.
So yeah, and then this weekend Friday I went and I supported Joanna. She competed in the Comic Cure competition. Richie Lee's had a competition here in Boca. He has them all the time. So and then I met a new comic, Talon. She's out of Fort Myers. You know who I'm talking about?
So yeah, she came out one night to our open mic, and she came up to me and she was like, "Hey, I want to sign up. I'm just getting back into it. It's my first time getting back into it. So you can kind of put me towards like the end of the list." It's like, "Oh yeah, dude, I got you." So I put her literally at the end of the list, and then she goes up and roasts me for the first like 3 minutes about putting her at the end of the list. And dude, she's a fucking hilarious comic. Like she's funny as fuck. Yeah.
Well, she won the comics vote, and then I think a guy named Larry won the audience vote. So, but it was cool. I supported them. And then last night I went out. There's a new room here in Del Rey, by way of Ryan Panucci. He won't say he hosts it because like the host is the owner, I guess. But it was fun. They packed it out. So. That was my weekend, and then now we've got the Blame Girl podcast on a fucking weekend. Get used to it, guys. All right. Are y'all ready to do some blaming?
No, I came for the coffee.
The coffee? Are you drinking coffee?
I just came for the coffee, that's all.
I almost stopped and grabbed some Starbucks on the way here. I got it.
Do you want me to make you a coffee?
Not right now.
I will. Let me get us going.
We'll just pause the podcast and get some coffee going.
Let me going on these blames, and I'll go run and get a pot of coffee going.
You are so misogynistic, Gio.
I am what?
You're so misogynistic.
Yeah, that is.
You don't stop what you're doing to run and get a man coffee.
I'm a good host in my house and on the podcast. Thank you very much. So, anyway, guys, I don't know if y'all heard, but we got green slime oozing out of the subways in New York. Who's to blame? Like, what the fuck is going on?
The Ghostbusters. That's who's to blame.
When I first saw that shit, I was like, it caught me off guard because like it's New York. I mean, like honestly, like it's not exactly surprising that it would be coming from there. Like, but it's still like it's like, it looked like, I don't know, like uranium. It looked very like toxic and shit. But
it looked like it was about to create the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. 100%.
But what was it really?
It's the dye. So they're dyeing, they're checking for leaks. So like we do the same. I work in construction, and we do the same stuff, and we do like leak tests and stuff. And like a lot of time you even do like smoke that will be going through it. So you'll have like a pipe that will be smoking. And people that, like an engineer, will be walking through and have no idea what's going on and be like, "Oh my God, the building's on fire," and call the fire department. And they're like, "Oh."
But it's intentional, just like this dye. And I did see that this dye was around back in like May or March, or M month. And so it's happened already. But do y'all believe it?
Yeah. They're just not telling people because like, part of it is the fun of watching people panic as like a construction worker.
I mean, it's not hard to
like
believe
what's going on.
that New York is a toxic. It's not hard to believe that New York's going to be the first place where Ninja Turtles, breaks out, right?
Yeah.
No. That you couldn't be more wrong. New York is so populated that it's monitored so much, it'll be the last place that becomes. They send toxic waste to the middle of nowhere so that Jethro and his sister wife can get eyelid boils all by themselves, far away from somebody else.
Yeah, Palestine, Ohio. That was they were just like, oh yeah, we're just
Yeah, exactly. Like even where I live right now, I live in a town called Lebanon, Tennessee. This
Right.
is where they would send their dump. You know, they would send it here. The little town, 35,000 people. That's a lot less liability lawsuits than the 8 million people in New York.
Right. You sit there and scroll through the internet and find like the town. There's like I saw one a while ago. It's like a town that's like still on fire. It's like been on fire for like the past like 60 years and just like still just fucking burning. And
they don't.
They evacuated the people and then they were like, all right, nobody go back. And like I guess images that are like from above it still show like smoke coming from it. And it's like, okay, we just won't talk about that.
I like that you say images from above it because that's how little it matters to them. They didn't even send somebody to check. They're just like, look it up on Google Maps or something. See if it's still on fire. Like, no, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares enough about these small towns, but they care a lot about big cities and large populations. So yeah, definitely no.
Dean cares about small towns.
If there are Ninja Turtles, they're gonna wind up in like Duluth, Minnesota, or some 500 person town in Montana. Like that's where the Ninja Turtles will be.
No, it's gonna be New York. It's gonna be New York. It's gonna be Chicago. Big cities.
Yeah, you gotta find like almost a middle.
I mean, look at all the shit that's been going on in New York with the floods. It would not surprise me if this was like actual green slime. It wouldn't. Right. It just wouldn't. I believed it when it, the headlines catch you, and I fucking believed it when it said green slime. I was like,
too high profile, too many eyes watching. It's the same reason why anytime somebody says the election was stolen, it's like, no, it isn't. There's no possible way. There's too many eyeballs on it,
Right.
You can't steal a diamond when 40 people are just staring at it. But again, you go out to Montana, well, there's only like one dude with one eye and it ain't that great. That's where you steal the diamond,
You know who loves people staring at them?
White people?
That's right, Terry. White people like Jared Leto. Jared Leto is climbing the fucking Empire State, or it has climbed. First man who has climbed the Empire. Jared fucking Leto. First man to climb the Empire State Building. Y'all.
Legally.
Terry asks, what's wrong with white people and who's to blame?
Dude, I'm not sure. Cause like that shit, I can't do it. I have buddies that do that like will go out and they'll send me videos from tops of
I feel like you do white people shit though.
I do some white people shit, but like that's not one of the white people. Like that gives my palms sweaty. Like that's not me. I'm not
like Eminem.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I'll tell you who's to blame. It's Tom Cruise. All right. Because ever since he started doing all that crazy Mission Impossible stuff with doing his own stunts, now it's just going to become a thing. And Jared Leto, of all people, really, you're trying to sell some 30 Seconds to Mars? Yeah, but he's trying to sell his tour.
I love that man.
I like one song from them.
Like it's like that would, but it's like that, like the white guy with a bunch of money that just wants to do something like weird and obscure like that. It's just like that weird, I don't know. Like it's people get with that much money and they're like, how can I make a point? And it's like, you could have just like put the same amount of money into like advertising for an ad,
Well, you know what you could have done in Jared Leto's case, I would like to see him hold his breath for an hour. That would be great. That would catch a lot of eyeballs. That gets a lot of clicks. Like he's the guy. He's the guy that won an Oscar and then ruined the Joker. That's who he is.
He's really from what was it? My So-Called Life or something. He was on some TV show.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and then he started acting for real. Won an Oscar, and then ruined the Joker. That's what he did.
Are you glad you didn't stop for coffee?
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
that's right.
Anything's better than Starbucks.
I make coffee.
I can cook.
I cook. That's me.
No, I cook.
No, this nigga can cook. I will give it. That's the one thing I will compliment him on. Ask him, right? That's the one
Well,
thing.
in all fairness, I did have a restaurant, so it's a little bit of a,
Just
you
'cause
know.
you got a restaurant. All restaurants ain't created equal. They ain't all good. He can cook so good. His bolognese is better than Dada's. You hear me?
I don't. You said bolognese. I don't know what the hell that is or means.
Oh, he's really white. And
Yeah.
you wouldn't go up the Empire State Building, huh?
No, hell no.
You're
And
not
he doesn't know
wild.
what bolognese is. This
You're
is
not-
crazy.
I might be. Yeah, I might be like Midwest white, but like there's definitely like some culture that I've added to myself from like because I grew up fat, so like I tried to.
And you don't know what bolognese is? Like
No, it's probably just something I've eaten before, but I don't know the name of it. You know,
It's not a big deal.
It's very good. It's a big deal when Terry makes it. I go wild, just like teachers are going wild these days and making millions on OnlyFans when they stop teaching. Who's
These
to blame?
transitions. I blame the transitions.
That
I
transition
blame
was
these
not
segues.
bad, okay? That transition was not that bad.
dude, I don't know.
No.
I think it's brilliant. You know, be a teacher for like 10, 15 years, but be like a like a senior, like a senior juniors teacher, like 10, 15 years. You got that many classes that already graduated. I mean, think about and then sit there and go to OnlyFans. That many classes are
The demand.
Oh, they would probably bring them up on charges if they did something like that. Tell your students about your OnlyFans.
Well,
after
no,
they,
but like,
after they graduate, just
like
on the way out the door. Here's your diploma, and here's my OnlyFans page.
Here's my handle.
Hey,
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you who to blame on this one is it's us because we are the ones who haven't made it a priority to pay teachers more. I'm sure that she wouldn't want to be on OnlyFans if she didn't have to be. Now, this is one particular example of one particular teacher who made $1 million in less than 6 months. And good for her. I have no problem with that. As I've stated many times, I think prostitution should be legal in this country. If you want to sell your body, you should be able to sell your body. It's your meat and bones. Sell it if you want. But if you don't pay teachers more than the average, fast food manager, then this is going to happen. You can't tell them to sacrifice their lives, sacrifice their financial future, sacrifice their own family stability. And then not only that, but then you turn around and you yell at them every time they do something or say something you don't like. I don't want your woke teacher stuff. Good, teach your own little dumbass kid then.
Telling them to fucking bring guns to school so that you can stop school shooters. Yes.
Not to mention, if anybody watched Bill Maher this weekend, he did a whole segment on teachers getting hit by their students because they take away their phone or they try and send them to the office. And next thing you know, they get assaulted by these same little badass kids.
There is no way I would teach today.
Right.
I used to teach over 10 years ago. I used to teach. Ain't no way I'm teaching today. These kids they're terrible. At the same time, I don't know that if you could pay teachers more, right? And maybe they don't make an OnlyFans, but you're not going to make $1 million teaching.
No.
How dare we fire a teacher for having an OnlyFans?
Why does our society value sex more than education is really the question. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Why is she making $1 million?
Let Bobby jump in here.
I don't know.
Because he's itching to get in there.
I don't know. It's all kind of wild because like I have a sister and a brother-in-law who are, like they're both teachers. So, they're both like, doing it. And to have like kids like trying to fight you and shit like that, like it sucks because honestly, I think if you went back to like those 50s, 60s mentality where it's like you get paddled for doing shit like that. You get, like Catholic school, you get like busted on the hand with a ruler, shit like that. Corporal discipline And I understand, like,
maybe humans
you can
need
always
that.
take that. You can always take it too far to where you have like that teacher that like just wants to beat the shit out of kids. Yeah, you know, you always are gonna have like those variants, but at the same time, like there is no fear of like a teacher anymore. Like I remembered I had a wrestling coach who was also my math teacher. So if I was ever an asshole to him, like yeah, he might not do anything in the classroom in that moment, but when we get to practice later, he's gonna fuck me up. And he's gonna like, you know, let it be known that was the purpose. It's, you know, there was a fear of that. There was a fear of messing up when you did sports because of like the discipline that could be, you know, the actual physical discipline that could come from you just being a douche to your teachers. So
I know, yeah. I got
paddled in the 4th grade. I remember this is the last time I got paddled by a principal in the 4th grade. But you know what? I'll say it again, like I've said it many times. If you look at American society, all you need to know is one thing. We pay cops more than we pay teachers. That shows you what our whole mindset is about.
Yeah, I just want to circle back around. I think in my blaming opinion, I think you guys are focused on the wrong thing. You cannot pay teachers enough to have them make millions. Like, why aren't we paying teachers the millions instead of the OnlyFans models?
Okay, I see what you're saying there. Yeah, taking the value in the education and not and
we take value in.
Why don't we mix it up? Why don't we add them both together? We'll pay teachers 150 grand a year, but they got to do it naked, right?
No, bitch, pay them $1 million.
Perfect.
You could just go
okay, pay them $1 million, but they got to be naked the whole time. That will get kids' attention.
I'll go back to it.
That will keep.
That sounds worth it.
Well, you're qualified. You have an OnlyFans, so there you go.
I had a teaching certificate, which I could just get
there
back.
You go. There you go. You're qualified.
Want some naked geography? Not kids. That's for adults. That's why we can't.
No, I'll tell you what. When I was in 8th grade, if the teacher was topless, I would have learned a lot more. I promise you that.
Yeah, I feel like all of us are already thinking it.
It's illegal. We can't do that.
No.
This stupid country and its stupid laws.
Silliness.
Yeah. They gotta sit there and fantasize about me with my top off, not,
Exactly. That's
you gotta
what about like the Canadian teacher, that one that they did like the bucket like
the giant she had like giant fake tits.
Bro, she's got like
naturally or
no.
Like
they paying their teachers good in Canada.
well, they have free healthcare too.
It was he had transitioned from male to female and also had taken on having these and people can't tell.
They were getting ready to go on OnlyFans. That's all they were doing.
They go
make money there.
They haven't figured out exactly if it's like a if it's legitimate or if it's kind of like a parody and she's just kind of screwing with people, like trying to take it to an extreme.
She's making money somehow off of it.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's
money somehow.
Well, that's just our fame. That's our fame culture is all that is. People will do anything to get in the limelight for just a minute. Like they'll transition and get giant hits and go work at a school just because they know it's going to cause an uproar, and then they'll be at the center of the uproar.
In the papers, right?
Yes, exactly. They're going to get clicks, and people will know their name, and it's really deep in the race. In the human race to want to have some kind of, lasting
recognition.
Lasting presence. So
speaking of lasting presence, let's go back to the Israel-Gaza conflict.
Oh, here we go. Bobby, you ready to get canceled?
Ain't nobody getting canceled, first of all. All right. Well, let's see what y'all have to say first. But y'all, we're back on Israel-Gaza this week. In America this week, because there were protests, people protesting, standing with the Palestinians, and a Jewish man was killed. He died, and it was ruled a homicide. Who's to blame?
Well, in all fairness, before we start, there's protests on both sides. There's pro-Israel protests, and then there's pro-Palestine protests.
Right.
And both of these people were protesters. Both the aggressor and the victim
So who's to
were
blame here,
protesters.
Gary?
In my opinion,
And we gotta let everyone know also the Palestinian protester called the police.
well, they did, but again, the police are waiting for the body cam, the cell phone footage because the victim was recording the whole thing when it happened. But I mean, I can assume what happened. You say what your thing is, I say what my thing is, you say your thing, I say one thing that goes way over the top, and then he knocks the old man out, and old man falls down and dies, you know. That's probably what happened, is what I'm assuming.
Right.
You know.
So you're saying that he probably wasn't hitting the old man in self-defense?
Well, self-defense is a very broad way. I'm saying he might not get convicted of it, but when you say an old man is attacking you and you're defending
They
your
were both
life,
men.
like that's a little
One
bizarre.
in his 60s. So they're
Right.
like,
And sometimes, dude, that old man might mess you up, you know, and
He
that's
might. He
like,
might. That's why I'm not gonna quote. I mean, I'm not just gonna talk about like I know what happened because there's just not enough information left. But the way I phrased this article was, you know, all these protests because now there's a bunch of them. They're all over the world. There's supposed to be a 1 million person march for the Palestinians, which again I've said we've discussed this several times. I feel bad for the Palestinian people. However, I do not feel bad for Hamas. I do not feel bad that, you know, you elect like the Palestinians elected them to lead.
actually, my understanding is that Israel supported Hamas at first. They installed Hamas.
No, no, they had Gaza had an election in the early 2000s to replace the leadership of Egypt
Did
because
Israel
Egypt used to
not
be
push
the.
them? Did they not support Hamas at that time? At some point, Israel backed Hamas.
well, I mean,
Mm,
so even if they did, we should, if you look at what happened with us and like 9/11, any of that stuff, we backed the Taliban when they were fighting off the Russians. You know, we
yeah.
sit there and backed them. And then after that, they used our weapons that we gave to them to fight the Russians to fuck us up. And then
Kind of like what's going
yeah,
on in Israel. I'm sorry. That's what's
so
Well,
going on.
they didn't fuck us up with the weapons. They fucked us up with our own planes, you know?
and then you look at us pulling out of Afghanistan and all the shit that we left behind there, and that is now being used by, you know, militants in Gaza and everything against US soldiers. And it's like, dude, it's all fucked up. Like, so we end up
It's almost like colonialism it's almost like colonialism isn't the problem. It's colonialists leaving that's the problem. Because we see what's happening.
well, so
I
look, I,
mean, he just made 2 points, and they both had to do with us leaving. You know, we left the Taliban uh, to their own devices to fight the Russians after we supported them, and they turned against us.
I want to
We left Afghanistan after destroying the country, and now they're turning back against us. Do you see what I'm saying? Like maybe not sticking around and giving enough support is the problem.
I want to circle back though. Why is this man dead?
Because people are stupid and they let their emotions get the best of them. And whether he pushed a guy and then the guy hit him, or, you know, I mean, there are facts to the case. And the facts of the case as we know them right now is Palestinian guy or Palestinian supporter hit the old man fell, hit his head, now he's dead. That's what we know. We just don't know if there was an extenuating circumstance to justify knocking the guy out.
yelling slurs or something during the process,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and that
Could have been, but again, you're allowed to yell slurs
right, but
without
that
getting hit.
probably take it from like being like involuntary to being a, you know, if because he could say like I was simply pushing him out of protection, and he fell, and that's what caused his demise was him falling. It wasn't me striking him in the head. But now if it's like, dude, bounces his head off the concrete and is saying it like I'm going to kill you as he's doing it, I'm just saying the charges may be harder to wipe off.
Oh no. If Bobby, if you and I went to a bar, got in an argument, and I hit you and your head hits the bar and you die, that's involuntary manslaughter.
I'm gonna say this. I think that
regardless of the situation, you could
think-
be a neo-Nazi dropping the N-bomb all over the place. It doesn't matter. You're not allowed to use violence against somebody's words. That's the way it works.
It might be premeditated, not premeditated because it's not exactly planned out, but you may face more charges with.
I hate to victim blame here, but it sounds like to me from what I've read that the Israeli protester left his side to go to the Palestinian side, and I think he should have kept his ass across the street. And maybe that wouldn't have happened to him.
Now, see, this is the thing that keeps bugging me, because I see a lot of people that are just so instantaneously taking Palestine's side in this whole deal. But again, I used the analogy last time we were on here. I bet if, because they're taking their side saying, oh, it's, basically Israel's like a colonialist ruler. Yeah, well, here's the thing. If the Native Americans started taking back cities here in America, would you be on their side too?
Probably.
Probably when they take when they start.
Yeah, I probably
when they kidnap you for being American, and then they take you.
I'm black.
And you'd be like, good for you. Kidnap me, torture me, kill me. Good for you.
They don't do that to me.
They won't do it to you?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because you're black?
Yeah, y'all brought us here without.
You're not Native American.
I'm here without consent. I'm here without consent.
No, this is a holy war. This has nothing to do with race. This is about gods and whose imaginary friend is bigger than the other imaginary friend.
You brought up.
That's what this says.
You brought
because it's a good analogy.
Yeah,
okay.
But I'm just saying, my peoples were forced to be here. Probably wouldn't be here if that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's funny is a white supremacist makes the same exact argument in reverse, saying nobody's forcing you to be here now. Why don't you leave? See what I mean? You sound like the exact opposite of the extreme.
I'm a citizen here now because y'all forced my ancestors to be here. So
right. And that's the argument that a white supremacist would make in reverse.
Liberia, like, come on. All right. Enough geopolitics for the night.
We can do this all day.
We can.
At the end of the day, one person attacked the other. That's what I'm saying.
This all day. I'm glad there is a subject that we've pretty much disagree on because we agree a lot. So this is good. But
so that I was
my position's been the same since I found out, like, yo, they took their land. Like, it's been like that since they've moved there. It's fucked up. You can't tell me otherwise. What were you gonna say?
That land's been taken back and forth for thousands of years.
Yeah,
so wasn't nothing new.
One is what I'm concerned about, how we got involved and we said this is
the most recent being like 1952. That's what you're saying? Okay,
what were you gonna say?
So the thing
Hawaii wasn't a state, but go ahead. Yeah.
The best part about being ignorant sometimes is like I don't know a whole lot about what was going on, right?
Well, that's what we're here for, Bobby.
Right. So like, well, no, I mean, like I knew like there's shit that's always popping off over there and everything else. Like honestly, next year for our honeymoon, we plan to go to Israel, and we plan to go to Jerusalem. Like that was like kind of our idea.
Are you Jewish?
No, but okay. I mean, but I'm Christian, so I'd to be able to go to like Bethlehem and stuff like that would be really cool to me. So that was like in our ideas, like we'll go there. And now I don't think we're gonna go as much. I
wouldn't.
I
wouldn't make a plan on it.
I mean, okay.
It was already dangerous before this. Now it's really, really
dangerous. I'm sorry, it's
It's
not.
absolutely dangerous. What are you
It's
talking
way
about?
more dangerous to go to Gaza. I'm just saying.
It's been dangerous in both Gaza and Israel since the 90s when Egypt gave over power.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm not.
I think it's fine.
I probably won't go to that one.
Then
Probably
you go.
But
Yeah.
I don't have any desire to go to the religious ground. I'm not religious. I don't
Well,
need
it doesn't.
I don't need to go to Mesopotamia. Oh, that's
It
already.
it doesn't matter if you have the three major religions on the planet and the holy sites for all three of them are the same places. Wars will never stop until somebody just goes, "Fine, you take this rock and go have fun with it."
Or aliens show up.
Yeah.
Can y'all please come and save Israel and Palestine, guys? We are dying.
But my whole point with that was that I was gonna get Starbucks, and apparently, like, they're canceling Starbucks now.
Oh yeah, because they support Israel,
right? So, and just I don't know.
They have lost a lot of business. I'm like, personally, I'm like so happy people are waking up, because I've been on that side for a while and been accused of anti-Semitism. I'm not an anti-Semite. I don't care about you worshiping or reading the Torah, and because who do they worship? Just God. I don't care about you worshiping Jesus or Muhammad, but when you're violent, you're violent. And
Oh, you mean like when Hamas attacked
fucking
Israel out of nowhere with no excuse whatsoever?
Israel's violent.
Or when they have a
protest. Okay, Israel. Oh, Israel's violent. Okay.
Yeah. Let's
but they didn't storm in and cause basically
like the firepower is the same. Okay, let's not act
no, just because they're the bigger kid doesn't make them wrong. Just because they've got the better military doesn't make them wrong when they defend themselves against an attack.
Hamas is wrong, but so is Israel. All right.
Hamas is wrong. Israel has dirt on its hands from some things that have happened. But guess what? If you get raped and then you go and murder your rapist, you still go to jail. You see what I'm saying?
But should you?
No.
But should you?
See, but then if I say no, but then I you got me lost in this one.
Like
listen,
that, that one little girl that did go to jail after she murdered her, like in America,
if you
go to jail.
If you take per capita citizens versus citizens lost in an attack, right? It's bigger than 9/11 for America. The 1,500 people that died from that Hamas attack in Israel would be the equivalent of 40,000 Americans dying. Now, what would we do? What would we do if a terrorist group killed 40,000 of our citizens? Because a terrorist group killed a terrorist group killed 3,000 of our citizens. We built the largest building in the world at the time, and fought 2 wars with 2 separate countries over it. So what would we do with 40,000?
After the podcast, because this is
all right.
We've got to interview.
We can do this all day.
I can. Okay,
I can.
So, sorry guys, you're gonna have to deal with this until there is a
This is why this podcast works.
So this podcast is gonna go forever.
It's gonna go forever. I hope you're at the gym.
At least, I mean, not saying you're profiting off the war, but I'm just saying.
Anybody profited off this podcast, but one day.
We do this for the love of the game.
Yeah, we are doing this for the love of the game at this point. All right. So I want to. Another part of the love of the game is comedy and comics. We love them, or at least I do. Maybe not Terry so much.
Smooth transition.
And this week we got Bobby Hall in the house. Welcome, Bobby.
What's up, guys?
Bobby, how long have you been doing comedy?
Since January of this year. So
what?
Yes.
How did you get started?
I got started in the comedy class down here with Ramon at the Improv.
You're a Ramon student, me too.
Yeah.
Ramon Garcias.
Yeah. So I'm down here in Florida for work with construction. And then I've been looking at doing comedy for years now. I've been watching Kill Tony. That's anybody that's like real into like the comedy universe or whatever knows like Kill Tony and all that shit. And it's been going on for 10 plus years now. So I've been watching them since like a couple years after they started, and that was always one. I've signed up for it probably 3 or 4 times before I ever even got to.
You've done Kill Tony?
No, I signed up for Kill Tony before I ever did the comedy class with Ramon or anything. So like for the past like 3 or 4 years, I had signed up for it, wanting to do it, wanting to start comedy that way. Which now, in reality, I'm very glad that I didn't do that, because like sure, I might have had like a joke or two that would have worked good off the start, but then it would have been like, okay, there's your 60
very much,
bud.
Very much backwards.
I'm like, that is. I can't imagine starting comedy. My first open mic ever being Kill Tony. Like that would be crazy.
Dude, my first.
Well, it's not that out of place. A lot of people go.
I'm just saying. No, I'm saying after doing comedy, like, oh my god.
Well, like even locally in South Florida, over the years, I saw so many people that did their first shows at the Improv, which is like the worst idea. I know. And it's still the worst idea.
That shit's amazing, and you get this false sense of like security when you do that. But anyway.
Oh, you know what else you do? You burn your bridge with everybody at the Improv, because you're not ready yet. You're not honed. All your material isn't honed. Your stage presence is a mess.
You're just not ready for the Improv yet. Like
if you would have spent 6 months at open mic,
or working at it, and you do keep working at it, you get better. Your bridge ain't burned. Anyway,
I'm not saying it's burnt forever. I'm just saying if you would have done open mics for 6 months, got a little sharper, got a little used to being on stage, and then did the Improv, you can make a big splash that way.
But that's part of the class. If you do the class with the Improv, part of your graduation is performing there. And I don't think there's one way.
I know what it is. I taught a class.
Okay, relax. I just don't think there's one way to get to that end goal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Regardless, we're talking about Bobby. So you started at the Improv. You've only been doing it since January. Since you've been doing it, what's become your favorite venue? And you can't say.
Can't say the Improv's too easy, man.
No,
Take a different one.
I'm gonna have to say Petanque. Like even though Petanque's
Petanque.
Petanque's like a
first shout out for Petanque. Good for you, man.
It can be a good room. It can also be a rough room. It can I could have also shouted out like our own room, or that that we do and stuff. But
Bodega,
Bodega's like
you can later though. Still,
we got it set up pretty nice now there. But like I like Petanque because it was one of the first rooms that I'd started out at. Like you can go in there and work out jokes. Also, the host, Drew, he's super chill, unless you just kind of like, if you want to sit there and flush out, some jokes that you want to just work through, you can. True. And it's nice not to have like the pressure of like a full room where it's like, shit, I don't even want to try new stuff because I want to do the stuff I know works.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole bunch of new people here that have never seen me before, but it's all like that weird, time, because you don't get a lot of time on a mic. So you're trying to figure out when you want to do the most, what you want to do with it and get the most out of it. So,
yeah, that's interesting. I can see the value in Petanque. Definitely with like what you said about the amount of time you get to do there, how Drew's super chill about that. Like if I am going to do a long set somewhere, I would go to Petanque and try to flush that out, because he's gonna let you just go if you can.
Yeah,
I love that he said Petanque. I love it, and I love Petanque, and I love rough rooms. Shout out to Swampgrass Willie's. Shout out to Petanque. Shout out to all the rough rooms out there. They're the ones that separate the wheat from the chaff, man. And if you can make it there, it's like New York. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
It's a completely different muscle. And like that's like you guys were saying with the Improvs, because I started out before I did my graduation class at the Improv and everything. I went and tried one open mic real quick, and it was at a kava bar. And bro, it was like the roughest mic I'd ever
Just a bunch of addicts, a bunch of ex-addicts.
I'm thinking coffee. I'm from Ohio. I've never heard of fucking kava. The only time you hear a kratom's at like a gas station or a fucking head shop. Like you don't find that at, you know, in a bar, like a whole bar dedicated to it and shit.
Yeah.
Of course it's a
There's
Florida
all these
thing.
addicts down here
Like, yeah.
recovering.
Yeah.
So they like
that shit pisses me off.
I get it.
Delray Beach. Delray Beach is the #1 addict recovery center in the country. That's the largest.
Mini Mansion Rehab.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have to joke about it.
Dude, it's like, okay, so you smoke cigarettes, right?
No.
Yeah. Just, you know.
This is a prop.
It burns smoothly. But like, all right, so there's people that will start vaping to try to quit smoking cigarettes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have people that fucking used to do heroin and now they drink fucking kava because, you know, they're in recovery. So, but you also have people that started vaping that had never smoked a fucking cigarette before, you know, that maybe when they don't have cigarette or you don't have vapes or whatever, or, you know, when they're hanging out with a certain select group of people, they might have a cigarette. Then you're going to have all these fucking people that have been into kava that get into like this opiate, you know, to an extent and are drinking it all the time. It's the fun. It's the trend. I don't know. I feel like
are you saying that kava is a gateway drug to heroin?
I think
is that what we're doing?
I think it might be some pebble stones, but it's gonna get there. You know, pathway. Maybe not a gateway, but a pathway.
So,
sorry, I'm ADHD.
We want to talk about you more.
Me too, brother.
Let me guess. You haven't done any traveling for comedy, or have you?
No, not for comedy. Okay. Not any traveling.
So we'll move on to the next thing. What's been your favorite or proudest moment since you've been doing comedy?
So I signed up and did quite a few of the new faces. And one of the new faces I was doing did my set or whatever, and I went to go to look for my wife afterwards. I was like, all right, where's she at? Mm-hmm. And I see her sitting there, and she's sitting next to like this old couple. And I was like, okay, I'll go sit down next to her and, you know, I'll wait for a second. Like she's very nice with people. She'll just make friends with any random set of, you know, people. So yeah, sit down and I look back at this guy and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And I didn't realize it was my dad. It was my dad and my mom were the old couple that she was hanging out with.
Wait, were you on kava at the time? Maybe that's why you were.
Dude, I was just seeing the back of their heads because I just did my set. I was like all just like super high on energy and came back and I just like was standing there and I just like all I saw was the back of their head. My dad, who has jet white hair, was wearing a hat, so I couldn't tell that like
that was your parents.
That was my dad's. And I sat down next to my wife and I was like, oh, you know, I looked back and I was like, what the fuck? But like I actually got to, perform a set at the Improv in front of my parents, which was pretty cool because like it went really well, even though like pretty sure in that set I was talking about like when I was a sperm in my dad's nuts. So like just to be like doing that set and then get off and be like, oh, you guys were in here in the audience. That was great. That's
but if there's anywhere you want to perform in front of your parents, it's definitely the Improv.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, I wish I could. My mom's in Texas, so
yeah, I wouldn't take them to any fucking open mics. I'm good on that shit.
Yeah, I've taken them.
I used to bring my family to my own open mic.
Yeah,
that one I used to run.
Like I've gone to open mics in Austin and they've gone because they want to see me, and that's but like now I can thankfully get booked in Austin when I go, which I need to start working on because I'm going next month.
Oh,
but anyway, so what's been your biggest challenge doing comedy?
I don't know. It's really like so I'm dyslexic as fuck, and I have horrible like handwriting, like calligraphy or whatever. So really it's like the organization of like all of like my jokes and material and stuff. Because like I'll have like again, I did those new faces. I did 3 different comedy class because I got here like October of last year, and I was like, all right, screw it, I'm gonna start up comedy, in January or whatever. I was like, I'm gonna sit there and look for an open mic, and I found the class on Eventbrite, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, did it. And then after the first class, I was like, this is great, so it's a Monday to come in and like have like a structure to sit there and spend a couple hours writing material, working out material, flushing out new jokes, all that shit. So I did 3 or 4 of those classes and then did the new faces. So just had a bunch of material built up and really trying to figure out like how to work through it and pick out the better ones out of all of those sets and create the best sets and not just be have a good shit filtered in with average shit. I don't know what question I was answering. I got lost.
Your biggest,
I was trying to bring it back around. I'm not gonna lie.
your biggest challenges. Your biggest challenges. That's funny.
Short-term memory loss. That's my biggest fucking challenge.
I know you went.
I'm starting to think weed is your
and then you
biggest
went
challenge.
down
That's
a
what I'm
rabbit hole.
thinking. I'm thinking weed is your biggest challenge.
I'm thinking
That's what I'm
ADD.
going with. Yeah.
So let's get to know you a little bit. Like, where are you from? Tell us about your day job. Do you have family or any other projects?
So, from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I'm a welder. That's what I've done for the past like 10 years.
Wholesome as fuck.
Yeah, as man, you grow up, in fucking a poor area and shit, and you don't have a lot of money. You realize you're not going to college, so that's what I did. But,
college is overrated. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got welded.
Yep.
I was the last of 4, so there was definitely no chance of like money for me to go to college or anything. One sibling went to the military just to get free college, so
Smart.
and then one's a teacher and the other one also he went into working in an oil rig. So we they got 2
He's
people
probably
that work
doing great in life.
Yeah, well,
that's the thing. Like that, but that's the thing. And I realized this when I was teaching. Like, we teach people like, oh, you should go to college, but often it's not. Trade school. Go to trade school. You'll get a better job. You'll be making $100,000 before a college student will. You know what I'm saying?
My wife has an MBA, and I've always made more money than her, and I got equivalency at 14, and that was the end of my educational career.
Yeah, I got it was like $536 was the cost of my last 2 years of high school. And that was my vocational school welding. And ever since I was 20 years old, I've made over 6 figures. And that's
welding is a great profession. I went to EMT school to get my EMT license. But the welding course was right next door. Every dude there was super cool, and every dude that left there with a $30 an hour job,
Yeah.
All right. So you're welder. You got.
Oh, by the way, the welders left. Every one of them left with a $30 an hour job. You know how much the EMTs left with? A $10 an hour job. So apparently personal safety is worth less than like a good nickel bead, I guess.
They're building factories and stuff. They're, we're just a little ant and a part of like, this big hive and somebody's making some money off the top. We're just paying for everybody's retirement.
All right. So you were married. Do you have kids or
no? Pull out game strong. No kids.
Okay.
Been
pull
together.
Out game friend.
Yeah. January will be 10 years.
But you're like in your 20s. What?
27.
Oh, Jesus. So y'all been together since high school.
We met our junior year of high school.
It's so weird. I meet so many.
I give it 6 months.
Are you are you Gen Z?
I don't know. I'm 27. I just turned 27. I don't know.
I feel like y'all are like
millennial or
because Shannon's married and like has been with her same man since she was in high school.
Yeah, some of us were just like, I'm tired of like this bullshit.
Well, you never.
Well, he was saying he doesn't know if he's
kind of the smart part. That's kind of the smart part.
I think he's the underside of millennial, kind of like I'm 42, but I'm considered millennial because I was born in 81. And I'm like, I don't feel like a millennial. You know what I mean? Like I was a grown adult, like with a job and a car and a 401k when the millennium occurred. So I don't feel like a millennial at all.
I was in college. Okay. Anyway,
wasting your money. Good job.
Do you have any other projects, podcasts, rooms?
So we have comedy rehab at Bodega every Thursday, Bodega West Palm Beach, in Clematis Street. We do that. Me, Rachel Hargrove, and Eric Graff were the 3 that Rachel Hargrove started it, and me and Eric are partners in doing that podcast, or not podcast, but that show with her. I'm actually probably in the next like week or two, I'm gonna be doing a new kind of show idea there. So we'll do it like once a month. Um, I will be releasing information about that on like my Instagram and everything else.
So it's gonna be like a book show once
Uh,
a month, or
no, so it's gonna be essentially the concepts rock paper scissors. Just kind of that's kind of the
oh, it's gonna be a different type of mic.
exactly. It's gonna be
Okay.
a different type of mic to where it's not just it's gonna be an open mic to where everybody can come and do the open mic portion, but it's gonna be crowd interactive. Crowd members can win free drinks. Comics can win free drinks. Makes it to where everybody's having a good time, a fun time. People are spending money. People are having fucking laughs. Everything's going great. So,
Sounds great. Next time I'm down there, I'm coming by.
fuck yeah, got you a free drink when you do.
I will alienate your audience and your business owners for sure.
That's fine.
A beloved character. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So are you ready to play the blame game?
Fuck yeah.
All right.
Fuck yeah, I like that.
You live in national parks, Bobby. Who's to blame?
What is that? Theodore, was that Roosevelt? Which one?
Yeah, Theodore Roosevelt. You're
Yeah,
right.
he was the one that gave us all the national parks. So 2019, we took a trip. We went and hit all 50 states in a little minivan, and that's what we did. And that's why now we live in a camper full time. Also, fucking still traveling around doing the shit.
How do you
Well,
like
I have a question on top of that because I am a traveler myself, as we were talking before. You big on national parks? I'm big on national parks. I've been to most of the major ones. What's your favorite?
Ooh.
Yeah, I
So
know. That's a tough question.
that's probably the fucking hardest question yet.
Yeah.
I don't know, cause so you have Mount Zion down in southern Utah, and
Not bad. Not bad.
Utah's really
yeah.
beautiful.
Well, there's Angel's Landing, which is a badass trail that you hike on this like chain that takes you out this ridge all the way to this big platform in the center. And it's super sketchy, but that one's really cool.
Too many dry counties in Utah, man. I'm out.
Yeah. Shit. Grand Sequoia National Park was beautiful. Just to see like trees that big, something that made you feel literally like an ant. That
always wanted to see that.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. Grand Canyon's beautiful, but that's like, I was amazed.
I've always said the Grand Canyon is the greatest, most monumental 20 minutes of your life. But then after that, what do you do?
Yeah, it's just
it's true.
They don't have no restaurants, or no, I'm just kidding.
Well, they do, but
okay.
What do you do after 20 minutes of looking at the hole?
Dude, so we traveled in a little minivan that I converted into being like a mini RV essentially. And
yeah, you went full Instagram. Got it.
Yeah, well, this was 2019. This was before van life and everything even fucking took off.
All I think of when I hear van life is Gabby Petito.
Yeah, well, believe me, being a comic, and I had a feud at one point with Doug Benson on fucking Instagram accidentally. I love Doug Benson. I don't know how the fuck I did it. Like, I don't know what. I literally woke up with like 130 like. I had a lot of death threats, and like it was bad.
Because you were engaging in van life,
dude. Huh? Well, no, they roasted me so hard. They were like, because I had all these pictures up of us traveling, and they were like, "Oh, that's Gabby Petito," and it was like right after shit happened, and like I was like, okay, like whatever.
Y'all are pretty married. It's like rough. Relax.
Exactly.
That's not your girlfriend. Like that's your wife.
Exactly. And well. Then they started like messaging like her mom and stuff.
Oh,
and, like
my
it
God.
was like, all right, this has spread way too far. Like this got way too far, way too quick. But no, what I was initially going to was like right outside of Grand Canyon, Flagstaff. That's like super sketchy. Don't sleep in the Walmart there. Like that shit was rough.
I'm just surprised out of all the great parks, those are the ones you picked. Because like you didn't mention Yellowstone, you didn't mention Yosemite.
So I drove to Yellowstone like 6 times. So when we did our trip, we blew up our minivan in Montana, And I drove a 26-foot U-Haul box truck pulling my minivan through Yellowstone from the west entrance to the east entrance, 3 hours and 49 minutes. Fucking just driving this giant ass truck. Can't stop anywhere.
So you didn't get
So you're saying your personal experience has now soured you on probably what is the greatest
no,
national park in America.
It's beautiful.
Right.
You didn't say it though.
Well,
He's like, he goes,
We're gonna hold you to task, man. We're gonna put
Bro,
you.
there's
We're gonna
so
put you on
many
the
of them.
hot seat.
There's so many
all right.
great national
Clearly,
parks.
that's your favorite. All right, Bobby, do you have anything you want to promote coming up? We got Bodega on
Thursdays.
Thursdays.
Every Thursday.
Anything else?
No, not really.
Okay,
Just, same old shit.
that's all right.
I love how chill this guy is. He's the best. He's on kava right now. That's why he's so chill. He's kavaed out.
All right.
Yeah.
It is time, and you want to stick around for this, but it is time for Terry Wayne's Words for White People.
Oh, I love this.
All right.
Oh, yeah, that's
Terry,
right.
what you got for white people this week.
We're going right back to white people this week. Last time we did Words for All People, we're going right back to my honkies, and I hope you're listening. Because this week, the word of the week is dreams. Okay, we're gonna talk about dreams, right? Because only American white people get to actually have dreams, as far as I can tell. Most of the world is like running around going, well, I hope they don't, murder us in a genocide right now. Even Israel and Palestine going on, like even the Israelites who are in Israel, they're not feeling secure. They're waiting for the next retaliation. The whole world's on the brink of World War III. And then you still got, some 28-year-old white girl at Stanford going, well, I don't really know what I want to do with my life. And my life is so important that I have to do something. Look, it's great to have dreams, okay? And I suggest that everybody pursue their dreams. However, by having a dream does not mean that you have the innate God-given right to achieve that dream, nor does it mean that it's your actual dream. A lot of people have dreams, especially when they're young, of things that they wish they could do. However, you don't even know who you are yet. So you're chasing something that you think that you want. All right. Now that's called a desire. And a desire is different from a dream. Oh, I have the desire to win the Powerball. A lot of people had that desire to win the Powerball. And a lot of people fucked up their whole lives by doing it. So just remember, dreams are an evolution that go throughout your whole life. A young man's dreams are not an old man's dreams. So yes, it's your dream today to do this, to do that, to be this, to accomplish that, to see this, to see that. But you have to know that it's a fluid concept that never stops changing throughout your entire life. Your dreams today might be your nightmares tomorrow. Okay. You really just have to consider the fact that your life today is never going to be the same a year from now. Your dreams will change. You will change. So stop being so steadfast. Be like, well, I have to pursue this dream. I have to do this. I've watched more people screw up their lives sticking and being stubborn about the dreams they had 10 years ago. Sometimes it's okay to let your dreams die. And sometimes it's the best thing because you don't know what your dream is going to be tomorrow. And your dream tomorrow might actually be where you're supposed to be in life. It might be your actual purpose. When I was a boy, I dreamed of being a bull rider in the rodeo. It probably wouldn't work out for me. It probably wouldn't lead me to a great place. So it's good that I changed. It's good that I evolved. And it's good that I let that dream die. So it's not such a terrible thing. Sometimes it's good for dreams to die so that new dreams can come into focus. And that might be where you're actually supposed to be at.
Terry's telling us all to quit comedy. All right, guys. All right, guys.
No, keep going comedy if you want. It hurts nothing. Comedy hurts nothing.
No, but I get what you're saying. It's the same reason that I like, I feel like when we were coming up, we were taught like you have this one profession, you stay at this job for 30 years and then you die.
No, no.
That is not, you move, you keep moving through life. Maybe you like
Life's an
this
evolution.
now, and then you like this later. You know what I'm saying? So
Life is an evolution. You evolve or you get left behind.
yeah, I agree. I agree with that. So thank you for your words for white people. But all people really, I feel like still. So
Well, no, because as I said, American white people are really like the very small portion of the planet that still gets to have dreams. So the rest of them are just trying to stay alive.
all right.
I thought you were talking about actual dreams for a second, like sleep. And I was
Oh,
like,
you thought we were going to that? No.
I was like, I've been dating myself for the past like 27 years. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. So Terry,
These are 40-year-old problems.
want to promote anything, Terry?
Yeah, just the book. The book is on Amazon right now. It's called Unclaimed Ashes. Get your copy while there's still plenty.
All right. Bodega again.
Bodega, Hobby Ball Comedy. So name's Bobby Hall. Just take the beat.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. I'm sorry. Hobby Ball, continue. Never mind.
That was pretty much
What you got, Terry? You got a show book?
I have been in talks with a local theater here in my hometown, and they have agreed to allow me to put a theater show together for a 90-minute show, pulling in comics from Nashville that I will host to do a showcase.
Do you know any Nashville comics? So like that's the problem.
I do. Yeah.
Have you been to
met
open mics there?
I haven't been in opening mics, but I have been talking to people online, and I've been watching videos. And
You need to go to open mics. Okay.
well, it is just kind of a hassle to get into the city. It's more of a hassle than I thought it was going to be. So I'm trying to evolve with it. But the point is, hopefully, the next time we speak, I will be talking to you about a theater date show. With a showcase of good local talents. So
yeah.
All right. So I got this week coming up. I am on the turkey contest at Dania Beach on, I believe it's Wednesday. And then on Friday, I'm at the Off the Cuff open mic. And we've got the Real Comedians of South Florida. A new premiere video is coming Monday. And then on Saturday, I'm at Brick and Barrel in Jupiter if you want to come out and see me live. So, all right. And